Calaroga Shark Media.
Hey there, I'm Johnny Mac with your daily comedy news. I've got my suspicion hat on today. Trevor Noah hosts the Grammys tonight. Now, I am recording this on Friday. It is 11:50 Eastern Time as I record this podcast. And as of 11:50, Trevor Noah hasn't done any press that I've seen about the Grammy Awards. Now, normally, you would expect the host of such a big award show, there'd be like a splash article in the Hollywood Reporter or Variety or one of those, and there's been nothing. Now, it's possible that, he had the cover of the Sunday Times this morning when you got up, but really strange to me that he's not out promoting this thing. The announcement that Trevor was hosting came pretty late in the game, only like 2 weeks ago. He is an executive producer now, but it's just weird. I don't know why. I did see that Trevor was overseas touring, but it's just weird to me, especially if he's a producer, that he's not out promoting this thing. But they're going to get a good number. I will tell you why. One of the presenters, Taylor Swift. Yeah, Taylor Swift's going to get up and present. Maybe she can make a joke about Joe Coy. Wouldn't that be awesome? I doubt it, because nobody knows who Joe Coy is, but boy, that would be amazing. So normally, I would have an article here where I would tell you what Trevor Noah said about the Grammy Awards, but it doesn't exist. I will tell you that Trevor himself is one of the 5 comedians nominated for Grammy for Best Comedy Album. Now, since we have time, I'm going to get on my soapbox. Because I'm from the 20th century, when you say to me comedy album, I picture an audio presentation, right? At one point, there was vinyl and then cassettes and CDs. You know how technology works. Somewhere along the way, the Grammy for Best Comedy Album started going to Netflix specials or HBO specials, and it became a video thing, and that bothers me. The nominees are Ricky Gervais, Dave Chappelle, Jim Gaffigan, Nikki Glaser, and Trevor Noah. Gervais is up for Armageddon, Chappelle's up for The Dreamer. For both those guys, it's nowhere near the top of their game, so I will pass on those. Nikki Glaser is up for HBO's Someday You'll Die, which I didn't think was all that good. Trevor Noah's special, I would pick, except Jim Gaffigan is nominated for The Prisoner, which is only out on album form. There's no video special for The Prisoner. Therefore, I am all in for Jim Gaffigan, The Prisoner. I hope an album wins Best Comedy Album. If we're just going in terms of material, I would pick Trevor Noah, but I want an album to win. Ricky Gervais' Armageddon won the Golden Globe for Best Performance in Stand-Up Comedy. Someday You'll Die got 2 Emmy nominations. Chappelle's The Dreamer was nominated for 2 Emmys. Chappelle has won 5 Grammys out of 6 nominations, including last year for Dave Chappelle, What's in a Name. Trevor Noah has won twice. Jim Gaffigan's been nominated 7 times, never won a Grammy. Rooting for you, Jim. Speaking of awards, the Writers Guild announced that Joel Kim Booster will host the 2025 Writers Guild Awards in Los Angeles Saturday, February 15th. Joel said, "Being a member of the WGA is one of my proudest accomplishments, bar none. After a tough couple of years our union has faced, I'm honored to get to host a celebration of all the incredible work our members have produced." I have bad news for Joel Kim Booster and the Writers Guild. You guys picked a stupid date. Here's why. I don't know if you know this. Saturday Night Live is turning 50. Yeah, we've known this for a while. The big SNL thing is that weekend on the Sunday, and on the Friday, they're doing the big music concert. So if you're looking for press for the Writers Guild on that weekend, you're not going to get any. SNL is going to be all that people are talking about. Amy Schumer wants us to talk about her, so okay, Amy, we'll talk about you every single day. Amy's got a movie out on Netflix on Wednesday, and Amy wants us to know she's no longer on Ozempic. She said she had a horrible experience on Ozempic despite losing 30 pounds. She told Howard Stern, "I have this gene, GDF15, which makes you extremely prone to nausea, which is why I was so sick during my pregnancy. I tried Ozempic almost 3 years ago, and I was like vomiting, and then you have no energy, but other people take it, and they're all good. God bless them." She said she lost 30 pounds so quick and looked great, but she couldn't lift her head off the pillow from how nauseous she was. Forbes asked Gary Gulman what was Gary Gulman's first drink. Gary said it was either a Budweiser or Miller Lite at a bar in Boston in my freshman year of college. I remember it because I had brought $8 to the bar. My friend said, "Who brings $8 to a bar?" I was like, "This is all I have." It was the guys from my football team. They were generous and wound up buying me drinks. My big hang up was I was an athlete and I was concerned it was going to make me less powerful on the basketball court and football field. "Gary, what do you drink these days?" He says, "I'm not a big drinker. Occasionally I'll have a glass of champagne at a wedding." And I bought a bottle of Macallan after Neil Peart, the drummer from Rush, died. I'll have a shot in honor of him on his birthday or the day he passed away. Forbes was curious how that tradition started. Gary Gulman said, I was listening to Geddy Lee's biography. He reads it and he does such great voices and accents. He said at a memorial for Neil, he and Alex Lifeson had a glass of Macallan, and they also put one out for him. The band used to drink it together on important occasions, so I thought that was very lovely and wanted to add that tradition to my life. They also asked Gary about his current one-man show, Grand Delinquent. Gary explained with stand-up, the basic formula is try to get as many laughs as close together as possible. A one-man show is definitely a more challenging format. I don't know how to put it in arithmetic, but it's about 20% more challenging. You need a narrative arc and a stronger ending than thank you and good night. I welcome a reasonable challenge. A musical would be way over my head. That's something that's close to my stand-up, but draws more on my acting training and writing skills. I think I've conditioned my audience that I'm willing to share things that aren't necessarily funny, but are meaningful to me. I'm lucky that I have this patient, encouraging, reassuring audience there, and they don't bristle at this. I hear loud laughs and guffaws, and then I hear people who are openly weeping. It's not what I intended. I didn't think it would go to that level, but it's a heartwarming surprise. He told an anecdote involving Chris Elliott. If you listen to this podcast regularly, you know I'm quite the 80s Letterman fan. Gary explained, when the Great Depression came out, a friend of mine reached out to Chris Elliott and asked him to watch it. One time, Chris invited me up to his house in Maine and cooked barbecue at night and stayed up late and told stories and then made breakfast in the morning. I was giddy. I wasn't able to tell him how crazy it was about his work because I knew it would make him uncomfortable, but it was a dream come true. Favorite Rush song? Subdivisions. Pete Davidson gave an update on the ferry he's trying to turn into a comedy club. He said, the John F. Kennedy sanctioned ferry. It's the biggest one. It's like a 5,000-seater. Believe it or not many people bid on it. A lot of people joke about it, but we have a very extensive plan, and we're a lot closer than people seem to think. The plans include a hotel on the top floor, a movie theater, an entertainment theater, and a shopping center. Pete explained, it's only been 2 years, and people are like, I guess it's dead. And it's like, we need like $100 million. Give us a second. And a story caught my eye from the Phoenix New Times. The New Times wrote, after a racist comedy act it hosted drew pamphleteering neo-Nazis to its front door, a particular brewery has a few regrets. Since I don't know what's really going on here, I'm going to pull my punches on the specific nouns, but I'll give you the gist of the story. The brewery went on Facebook and posted that they didn't do their due diligence to verify concerns about one of the comedians. According to the brewery statement, via the New Times, the comedian was brought along by the headliner. The statement reads, headliner informed us he was providing his opening acts, as is very common in the industry. A few days before the event, we received concerns about one of the performers who we weren't aware of being on the show. We were assured by headliner that this wouldn't be an issue and mistakenly didn't do our due diligence to verify these concerns. Apparently, the New Times DM'd with the comedian in question, not the headliner, the other one, who wrote, I did 2 shows that went off with no issues. I went back to the venue the following night. No one mentioned anything about neo-Nazis handing out flyers or them having to lock the gates. I had a diverse audience, including Mexicans and Jewish people. If this was a neo-Nazi event, I'm pretty sure those people wouldn't have been there, nor would they have hung around after the show to talk to me, buy my merch, and tell me how much they enjoyed the show. So seeing this post seems like a load of horse hockey, and honestly, I'm disappointed in the venue. The New Times sourced an employee of the brewery who worked the event, who said as for the questionable material, there were more shouts of agreement and cheering than there was laughter. It felt more like a rally than a comedy show. The staffer had trouble recalling specifics of the controversial act, but they remembered a bit about the comedian being highly attracted to old-school Nazis because they actually have testosterone and will smack you around every once in a while. The staffer said management was complaining right along with us. We all shot each other painful looks from across the bar, specifically nasty lines. This has been a nightmare for them. And they're even arguably more frustrated and upset than the hourly staff simply because of the intense damage control they're expected to do. Oh, there is more. According to this report, on Friday, members of some neo-Nazi groups, I'm not going to promote the particular groups, posted photos and videos of themselves on a social media platform, masked, and handing out flyers outside the show. The flyers promoted some of their ideas, which I choose not to promote. The brewery said the views of the performers do not reflect the views of the brewery, and in no way do we support the presence of any sort of neo-Nazi groups around our business. We absolutely do not support neo-Nazis, hate speech, white supremacy, misogyny, anti-LGBTQ+, or racism of any kind. That's it. I don't even know how to wrap up here. They're awkward, but I just found that whole thing interesting. How did the show get booked? What was said? Why did the guys come by with pamphlets? Seems like there's a lot more to unpack here. We'll keep an eye on that one. That's your comedy news for today. Awkward. All right, see you tomorrow.